Hi, what I'm showing here is a 10-card spread for a tarot card fortune telling. I've already flipped the cards over individually and done individual meanings for each of them and their positions, and now I'm just going to go through all 10 of them here together and film this and sum it all up. So we have the first card here is our question. Our question is the Emperor. The Emperor in this position as a question represents a question of control, a question of authority, or a question about dominance. We then move to the second card here, which is the Chariot, which is what's crossed. This is what is in opposition to our question. The Chariot in this position is going to represent something that needs to be controlled. The charioteer represents the Emperor, and these two let's call them horses. We'll call them horses because that's what they usually are. It represents the power that the charioteer needs to harness. So if the charioteer can harness the power, it would mean a victory. If that charioteer is unable to harness that power, then he's going to crash and he's going to fail. So in this case, the crossing of control is something that is out of control or something that is not willing to be controlled. We then move up here to the third position, which is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands represents caution. The Nine of Wands represents vigilance, regard for something, defensive stance, or prudence, anticipation of problems. This is in the third position. It is the apparent or obvious part of the question. So if the question is about control, and the crossing here is of something that's out of control, the obvious part is that there is caution or care taken in order to deal with this. There is some type of worry, or not really worry, but anticipation of problems, I suppose, by the person that the person asking the question is expecting. We will move down here to the fourth card, which represents the part of the question that is unseen. In this case, we have the the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is going to represent the feminine side of power, feminine side of intelligence. Down here in this position, it may represent that the person asking the question is only considering one side of it. They're not considering perhaps the feminine side of the equation, or the more intuitive side of the equation, because you can see here that the Queen of Swords is powerful, yet she realizes that she's breaking her katana here, that it's not always power, that it's like you don't always need a sword in order to win. You don't always need to wield a sword to be powerful, and so that this could either represent another person, perhaps the person that is out of control, is the out of control of the unharnessed energy of the chariots, or it could be the polarity of the masculine side of the Emperor. But anyway, we have some polarity. So we have this polarity, and we have these as being a polarity, these two cards as being a polarity, and these two cards as being a polarity. So now we move to the fifth position, which is the King of Swords. The King of Swords in the fifth position is going to represent something that came in the past. Represents what came in the past, and here we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords represents confrontation with a thought. So here we have the past. We have another face card. We have another card representing intelligence and power. Now we have the masculine side of it. We have the mature masculine side of power and intelligence, and it attacks the problem in an entirely different way. This being in the past means that perhaps in the past there was a little heavy-handedness. Maybe that's why we also have the Nine of Wands above us here. A lot of times the third card and the fifth card are connected in some way. So perhaps there's caution now because there was heavy-handedness in the past. Now we're going to move over here to the sixth card. The sixth card is the Bishop. The Bishop in this position doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm just going to say that the Bishop can either be the future. It's going to represent the immediate future for the question. In this case, the Bishop is sin, spirituality. It really doesn't fit except perhaps as the harnessing of the material and the relationship. So we're just going to move on from there to the final four cards. So for the final four cards, we have in the seventh position the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins represents generosity. In this position, in the seventh position, it represents you asking the question. This would represent somebody who has done well for themselves, somebody who has money, but they're not miserly or not stingy with it. They're generous with all, and all in all, not such a bad person. Not really like all the conflict that we see in the rest of in the spread up to this point. We don't really see this as this side of this person, but this what this card represents is generosity. We then move on to the card here, the eighth card, which represents the views of others. Here again we have the stars. The stars is going to represent your hopes and your dreams. I'm sorry, the stars in this position is going to represent hope. And in this position it would represent a bright future. That from the point of view of others, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's more, I would say, neutralized. But then, so now let's just move on here to the next card, which is the ninth position, and it's the World. The World is going to represent everything, completeness. This is for hopes and fears. So we have a card that represents winning. So you would either hope to win, or you would fear to win, or fear to lose. Something along that lines. But this card is a card of completeness of a journey, because it's the last card of the major arcana. And now we're going to move on to the final card. This card would represent a possible ending for this question. So the question is of control, and something to be controlled is represented here by our Chariot. So the final card, if this is a question of a relationship, although it doesn't necessarily have to be, but the final card comes up as a Two of Cups, which is a bonding, which represents bonding. It represents marriage. It represents a partnership. It's the deuces are always a polarity. So we have a lot of polarity represented in this particular spread, either within a single card, as in this one, and the Bishop, or as in playing off two cards, as in the Nine of Wands against the King of Swords, the one card against the two card, the Emperor against the Charioteer. And also the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords in the fourth position, and the King of Swords in the fifth position. So all in all, though, I think what we're seeing here is that the question is control. That question may not be answered, but if it's a relationship, the relationship is going to move forward in this particular question, maybe not answered, or maybe the status quo is left intact. But it's not going to stop the relationship. If this is a question of relationships, the end result would be that there's going to be a bonding and a union, regardless of anything else that goes on.